The emergency klaxon screamed through the cockpit as Marcus Reeves fought with the dying controls of his interceptor. Red warning lights painted his sweat-streaked face in hellish illumination while the planet's atmosphere tore at his ship's compromised hull. The evacuation of Tethera Prime had gone catastrophically wrong. Hostile forces had appeared from nowhere, turning an orderly retreat into absolute chaos. Mayday. Mayday, he gasped into the com, knowing the signal was likely lost in the interference. This is Echo 7 going down hard. If anyone can hear this, the transmission cut out as something vital exploded behind him. Marcus had just enough time to register the canopy blowing clear and the violent punch of the ejection seat before consciousness fled. Pain brought him back. Not the sharp, immediate agony of fresh wounds, but the deep, throbbing ache of a body pushed far beyond its limits. Marcus groaned, trying to move, only to find his left arm unresponsive and his ribs screaming protest at the mere act of breathing. His eyes flickered open to confusion. He wasn't lying in wreckage or on bare ground. Instead, he found himself on something impossibly soft, wrapped in fabric that seemed to shimmer with its own faint luminescence. The ceiling above him wasn't metal or stone, but some kind of organic material that pulsed with gentle violet light. Where the hell was he? Easy, small one. A voice like warm thunder rumbled from somewhere beyond his limited field of vision. Your body needs rest. Marcus tried to turn his head toward the sound, and immediately regretted it as the world spun. A shadow fell over him. No, not a shadow. A presence. Someone was leaning over him, and as his vision cleared, Marcus found himself staring up at the most striking being he'd ever encountered. She was massive, easily 9 feet tall even from his prone position, with skin the deep crimson of a desert sunset. Her features were sharp and elegant, with high cheekbones and large eyes that glowed with an inner amber light. Hair like spun copper fell in thick waves past her shoulders, adorned with small crystalline ornaments that chimed softly with her movements. But it was her wings that truly captured his attention, great feathered appendages that seemed to shift between crimson and gold, depending on how the light caught them, currently folded against her back. What ... Marcus's voice came out as a rasp. What are you? Her lips curved into a gentle smile. I am Vera, of the Avari people, and you, broken pilot, are very far from your own kind. She moved with fluid grace, reaching for something beyond his vision. Drink this. It will help with the pain. Every instinct told Marcus to refuse, to stay alert, but the agony radiating through his body made the decision for him. When she lifted his head with surprising gentleness and brought a crystalline cup to his lips, he drank. The liquid was cool and tasted of mint and something sweet, and within moments the edges of his pain began to blur. The others of your species fled 3 days ago, Vera continued, setting the cup aside. Her massive hands moved to his injured arm, touching with a delicacy that seemed impossible for someone her size. The evacuation ships left nothing behind but wreckage and you. I found you in the remains of your flying machine, more dead than alive. 3 days. Marcus's mind reeled. 3 days unconscious. 3 days his squadron had probably marked him as killed in action. Why? He managed. Why save me? Vera's glowing eyes met his, and something in their depths made his breath catch. Because leaving you to die would have been a waste. Her hands began to glow with soft amber light, and Marcus felt warmth spreading through his injured arm. And because something told me you are worth saving. He should have been afraid. This alien warrior woman could probably snap him in half without effort, and he was completely at her mercy in an unfamiliar place with no way to contact his people. But as the healing warmth from her hands chased away more of his pain, Marcus found himself mesmerized by the concentration on her face, the way her wings rustled softly with each breath she took. This will hurt, she warned. And before he could brace himself, there was a sharp crack and white-hot agony as she reset the bone in his arm. Marcus cried out, his good hand instinctively grabbing at the nearest thing, which happened to be her wrist. His fingers couldn't even wrap halfway around it. "Breathe," Vera commanded gently, her free hand coming to rest on his chest. "Breathe through it, small warrior. The worst is past." Marcus gasped for air, his grip on her wrist tightening until the pain began to recede. Gradually, he became aware that her hand on his chest wasn't just steadying him. It was radiating that same healing warmth, easing the agony in his ribs. He looked up at her, finding her face much closer than before, her expression one of focused concern. "You're healing me," he breathed. "My people have certain gifts," Vera confirmed, "though it takes much energy to heal one as badly wounded as you were. You have been asleep for days while I worked." There was a hint of pride in her voice. "Most would not have survived the injuries you sustained in a crash." "Thank you," Marcus said, surprised by how much he meant it. "I'm Marcus. Marcus Reeves." "Marcus," she repeated, the name sounding exotic in her accent. Her wings rustled again, and he realized it might be a sign of pleasure. A fitting name for a warrior who falls from the sky and lives to speak of it. Over the next hours, as Vera continued her healing work, Marcus learned more about his unlikely savior. The Avari were an ancient people who had inhabited Kithua Prime long before human colonization efforts began. They were warriors and healers both, with a society built on honor and personal bonds. Vera herself was considered one of their finest fighters, which made her choice to spend days healing a single human all the more unusual. "Your people are forbidden from settling here anymore," Vera explained as she prepared some kind of herbal paste for his wounds. "The conflict that forced your evacuation, it was necessary. Humans do not understand the sacred places of this world, the energies that must not be disturbed." Marcus felt a flush of shame. He'd known the colonization of Kethra Prime was controversial, but he'd been a pilot following orders. "I'm sorry," he said quietly, "for whatever damage we caused." Vera paused in her work, those glowing amber eyes studying him with unsettling intensity. "You are not like the others I have observed," she said finally. "There is genuine regret in you, humility. These are rare qualities." "I'm just a pilot," Marcus protested. "I don't make the big decisions." "Perhaps not," Vera agreed, returning to her work. "But you own your actions regardless. This too is rare." She finished applying the paste and secured it with strips of that luminescent fabric. "You will stay here until you are fully healed. It is not safe for you to wander alone. There are still those of my people who would kill any human on sight. After the violations of the sacred sites, the thought of being completely dependent on this alien woman should have terrified him. Instead, Marcus found himself oddly comfortable with the arrangement. There was something about Vera's presence that felt safe, protected. "I don't have much choice," he admitted, "but I'm grateful, truly." Vera's wings spread slightly definitely pleasure. He was learning to read her body language. "Rest now, Marcus Reeves. Tomorrow, I will begin teaching you about this world, so you do not remain helpless within it." She moved to extinguish some of the bioluminescent lanterns that lit the space. "Sleep well, small warrior. You are safe in my sanctuary." As darkness fell and exhaustion claimed him, Marcus's last conscious thought was of those amber eyes watching over him, and the strange flutter in his chest that had nothing to do with his healing injuries. Morning on Kethera Prime was unlike anything Marcus had experienced. Instead of a single sun rising, 3 moons set simultaneously, while bioluminescent flora slowly dimmed their nighttime glow. The effect was a gradual transition from violet darkness to a soft amber twilight that would apparently last for hours before true daylight arrived. Marcus woke to find Vera absent from the main chamber, though he could hear movement from somewhere deeper in her dwelling. His body felt remarkably better. The deep aches had faded to manageable soreness, and when he carefully tested his previously broken arm, he found it responding normally. Whatever healing abilities the Avari possessed, they were nothing short of miraculous. He sat up slowly, taking his first real look at his surroundings. Vera's home was carved into a cliffside, its walls a mixture of natural stone and that strange organic material that seemed to breathe with light. Large openings served as windows, currently covered with thin membranes that filtered the morning twilight into dancing patterns across the floor. Vegetation grew throughout the space, not decorative plants, but living elements of the structure itself, their roots visible in the walls. "You should not be standing yet." Vera's voice came from behind him, and Marcus turned to find her emerging from what he assumed was another room. She carried a tray laden with strange fruits and what looked like flatbread. Her wings were partially spread, catching the ambient light in a way that made them seem to glow. "Though I suppose the fact that you can stand is testament to your body's resilience." "I heal fast," Marcus said, then gestured helplessly at himself. He was still wearing the torn remnants of his flight suit. "Though I could really use a shower. Or whatever you have here that passes for one." Vera's expression shifted to something that might have been amusement. "We have cleansing pools fed by mountain springs. But first you eat. Your body needs nourishment to complete the healing." She set the tray down on a low table and gestured for him to join her. Marcus settled onto the cushioned floor across from her, immediately aware of the size difference between them. Even sitting, Vera's head was level with his standing height. "Do I want to know what this is?" he asked, eyeing the strange purple fruit. "Cathara plums," she replied, selecting one and biting into it with sharp white teeth. Juice ran down her chin, and she wiped it away unself-consciously. "Perfectly safe for human consumption. I researched your species' dietary needs extensively while you slept." The casual admission that she'd been studying him made something warm curl in Marcus's chest. He took a tentative bite of the fruit and was rewarded with an explosion of flavor sweet, but with a tart undertone that reminded him of pomegranate and citrus combined. "This is incredible," he admitted. They ate in comfortable silence for a while, and Marcus found himself studying his host when he thought she wasn't looking. The way the light played across her crimson skin, highlighting patterns he hadn't noticed before, subtle swirls that might have been natural or might have been some form of decoration. The graceful way her hands moved despite their size. The occasional rustle of her wings when something pleased or interested her. "You're staring," Vera observed without looking up from her food. Marcus felt heat rise to his face. "Sorry, I've never met anyone like you before. Any Avari, I mean. And I have never had a human in my home," Vera countered, finally meeting his eyes. "We are both navigating unknown territory, Marcus Reeves." She set aside her food and rose to her full height. "Come, I'll show you to the cleansing pools, and then we must address your clothing situation. Those rags will not do." The cleansing pools were in a chamber deeper within the cliff dwelling, fed by a natural spring that cascaded down the rock face in a shimmering waterfall. The water collected in a series of pools at different levels, each steaming gently in the cool morning air. The entire chamber was lit by more of that bioluminescent vegetation, creating an almost magical atmosphere. "I will leave you to your privacy," Vera said, setting down what looked like towels woven from some silky material. "There are cleansing oils on the shelf if you wish to use them. Take your time." After she left, Marcus stripped off his ruined flight suit and sank into the nearest pool with a groan of pure relief. The water was perfectly heated, and he could feel it working on his sore muscles immediately. He stayed there for a long time, letting the steam and warmth wash away days of accumulated stress and pain. When he finally emerged, he found fresh clothing waiting, loose trousers, and a tunic made from that same luminescent fabric Vera seemed to favor. They were clearly sized for someone much larger, but she'd left a belt and some cord that he could use to adjust them. The effect was probably ridiculous, but at least he was clean and clothed. He found Vera on what she called her observation terrace, a wide platform that jutted out from the cliff face, offering a breathtaking view of the valley below. The bioluminescent forest stretched as far as he could see, its trees pulsing with synchronized patterns of light that created waves of color across the landscape. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Vera said softly. She stood at the terrace's edge, her wings spread wide, catching the wind. "This is why we fight to protect it. Why we cannot allow careless exploitation of our world's sacred places." Marcus joined her, maintaining a respectful distance. "I understand now. Seeing this, I get why you are willing to go to war over it. Yet you fought for the other side," Vera observed, but there was no accusation in her tone. "Tell me, Marcus, why did you become a pilot? What drove you to the stars?" The question caught him off guard. No one had asked him that in years. "I wanted to see things no one else had seen," he admitted. "To go places that existed only in dreams. My parents were farmers on a colony world, barely scraping by. The military offered me a way out, a way to matter." He laughed bitterly. "Turns out I mostly just followed orders and tried not to die." Vera turned to look at him, and something in her expression had softened. "You matter, Marcus Reeves. Your desire to explore, to experience wonder, these are not small things. They are what make life worth living." She folded her wings and sat down, patting the space beside her. "Sit with me. I will tell you of my own dreams." As Marcus settled beside her, their size difference less pronounced, when seated Vera began to speak. She told him of growing up in a warrior clan, where strength and combat prowess were valued above all. How she'd discovered her healing gifts as a young adult, and had been caught between two callings. How she'd chosen to master both, refusing to limit herself to one path. "My people did not understand at first," she confided. "Warriors heal through victory," they said. "Why waste your gifts on those too weak to survive?" Her wings rustled in clear agitation at the memory. "But I believe there is more courage in preserving life than in taking it. More honor in healing than in harming." "Is that why you saved me?" Marcus asked softly. "To prove that point?" Vera's glowing eyes met his, and the intensity in them made his breath catch. "I saved you because when I saw you lying broken in that wreckage, something in my spirit recognized something in yours. A kindred isolation, a questioning of the path laid before you." She reached out, and her massive hand gently cupped his face. Her touch was impossibly tender. "I saved you because I wanted to, Marcus. Because something whispered that you were meant to survive." The moment stretched between them, charged with something Marcus couldn't name. Her hand was so warm against his skin, her thumb absently tracing his cheekbone. He found himself leaning into the touch without thinking. "Vera," he started, but the sound of approaching footsteps made them both turn. A younger Avari male appeared at the terrace entrance, his skin a lighter shade of crimson than Vera's, his wings still bearing the mottled patterns of adolescence. His amber eyes widened when he saw Marcus, and his hand instinctively went to the blade at his hip. "Sister," he said in their language, which Marcus's translator implant barely parsed. "What is this human doing here? Father will be furious when he learns you've brought one of them into your sanctuary." "Jorah," Vera replied, rising to her full height with her wings spread in what Marcus was learning to recognize as a protective posture. "This is Marcus. He is under my protection. And what Father thinks is of no concern. I am an adult warrior with my own dwelling and my own choices. Jorah's expression shifted from shock to something more calculating as he studied Marcus. This is about more than healing, isn't it? Sister, you can't be serious. A human? That is enough. Vera's voice carried a warning edge. Marcus is my guest. You will treat him with respect, or you will leave. The young Avari male looked between them, something like understanding dawning in his eyes. Then, surprisingly, he laughed. Oh, the elders are going to lose their minds. He sketched a mocking bow in Marcus's direction. Welcome to the family, little human. You're either very brave or very foolish to capture my sister's interest. Jorah. Vera's wings flared in embarrassment. I'm leaving, Jorah said, still grinning. But you know I'm right. And you know this won't be simple. His expression grew more serious. Be careful, sister. Not everyone will be as accepting as I am. After he left, Vera sank back down beside Marcus, her wings drooping slightly. I apologize for my brother. He has always been too perceptive for his own good. Is he right? Marcus asked quietly. About whatever this is between us? Vera was silent for a long moment, her glowing eyes fixed on the bioluminescent forest below. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. Among my people, when an Avari chooses to heal another, they create a bond. Not magical or mystical, but emotional. Real. I have spent days with my hands on your body, my energy flowing into you, learning every part of you that was broken so I could make it whole again. She turned to face him. Yes, Marcus. Jorah is right. This is no longer simply about healing. Marcus's heart hammered in his chest. Everything about this situation was impossible wrong on every logical level. She was nearly twice his size, from a completely different species, on a planet he was supposed to have evacuated. Any relationship between them would be fraught with complications he couldn't even begin to imagine. But when he looked into those amber eyes, none of that seemed to matter. I should probably be terrified, he admitted. Of you, of this situation, of what comes next. But I'm not. When I'm with you, I feel safer than I've felt in years. And that doesn't make any sense. Vera's expression softened as she reached out to take his hand in hers. Her fingers completely engulfed his, but her grip was gentle. Perhaps sense is overrated. Perhaps sometimes we must simply trust what our spirits tell us. Her wings rustled pleasure and nervousness combined. Stay with me, Marcus. Not as my patient, but as someone I wish to know better. Let us discover what this connection between us might become. It was insane, reckless, probably the worst decision he could make. Yes, Marcus heard himself say. I'll stay. As Vera's face lit up with joy and her wings spread wide in clear delight, Marcus realized he just committed to something that would change everything. But as she pulled him into an embrace, her massive arms enveloping him completely, her wings wrapping around them both like a crimson cocoon, he found he didn't regret it. Not even a little bit. The twin moons finally set completely, and true daylight began to creep across the valley, painting everything in shades of gold and amber. Marcus closed his eyes and let himself simply exist in this moment, held safe in the arms of an impossible warrior who had chosen to save him for reasons neither of them fully understood yet. Whatever came next, they would face it together.